Hello everyone, myself Dr. Anindya Sundar Das. I am working as an assistant professor in Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering in Swami Vivekananda Institute of Science and Technology. This is lecture number 10 and the topic is time response of second order system of the subject control system and instrumentation. In last lecture, we have already discussed about the output response of first order system. Okay, and, and we have already discussed the effect of location of poles, okay, and zeros on the transient response of first order system. Now compared to the simplicity of first order system, the output response of first order system is very simple. Okay, either it is exponentially decreasing or exponentially increasing. Okay, now but a second order system exhibits a wide range of responses that must be analyzed and described. Okay, now by varying the parameter, that is the t time constant and gain k, okay, dc gain, we can change the or we can alter the speed and offset of the output response for first order system. Okay, whereas changes in the parameters of a second order system can change the form of the response. Okay, that we have to find out that what parameter we have to change to vary the response, output response of a second order system. A second order system can display characteristics much like a first order system depending on the component values. Okay, display the damped and pure oscillation for its transient response. Now in actually for a second order system we can have this four type of response. One is called undamped response, that means there is no damping factor, and that damping factor basically described by zeta. So zeta equal to 0, that means there is no damping factor, so the frequency of oscillation will be a constant. Okay, so it will be a sinusoidal wave. Okay, then we can have underdamped when the damping factor zeta value is between 0 to 1, greater than 0, less than 1. Okay, then what will happen, we will have oscillation. Okay, oscillation and amplitude decreasing, and then it will reach to the constant value. Okay, that is called underdamped response. Then we can have critically damped response. Okay, that means whatever the constant value, okay, or the steady state value, it will reach that value without any oscillation. That is called critically damped, and that for that this zeta value should be equal to 1. Okay, damping factor should be equal to 1, and overdamp means it will reach to that constant value after a long time. That time zeta value is basically greater than 1. Okay, so these are the four type of characteristics. Those are depends on this value, zeta value, which is called damping factor. So how we are getting this factor, let me tell you that in this slide. Now the general second order system is characterized by the following transfer function. Okay, so this is your open loop transfer function, omega n square divided by s into s plus 2 zeta omega n. Here omega n is the frequency of oscillation, zeta is the damping factor, or omega n also known as undamped natural frequency of second order system. Okay, and zeta is called damping factor or damping ratio. Okay, now undamped natural frequency, that means if there is no zeta, that is no damping factor, then it will oscillate with omega n frequency, that is the frequency of oscillation without damping. Okay, and damping ratio is the measure of degree of resistance to change in the system output. Okay, now this is the second order because we will have a square term here, right? Now if we take negative feedback, then we can find out overall transfer function cs by rs, and this is the overall transfer function. Okay, now here we can compare. This is the transfer function, say. Okay, Now we can, from that transfer function, we can find out what is the value of omega n and what is the value of this zeta. Okay, zeta. So here in this particular form, we have to compare that with the transfer function. So omega n square equal to 4. So omega n equal to 2. That we can get. Now 2 zeta omega n, that value equal to 2. 2s. Right. So here ss we can cancel out. Omega n we know that is 4. Okay. So zeta n equal to 1. Okay. So from that we can find out zeta equal to 1 by 2, that is 0.5. So from any transfer function we can find out the value of omega n and value of zeta. If we know the value of zeta, then we can find out that what should be the output response. Okay, if zeta is between 0 to 1, then under damped response zeta equal to 1, then critically damped greater than 1, then over damped zeta equal to 0, then it is undamped. So we can find out the response. So this is a simple thing for second order. Okay, now let us see the effect of zeta. Okay, and let us analyze. So this is your transfer function. Okay, this is your characteristic equation. You can form denominator polynomial equal to s. From this is its second order equation. So we can apply. We can find out roots of equation using this Sridhar Acharya formula, minus b plus minus root of b square minus 4ac by 2a. Now b equal to 2 zeta omega n, c equal to omega n square, a equal to 1. So we can put it here, b square minus 4ac. Okay. Now 2 can be cancelled out, so it will be minus omega n zeta plus minus 2 values. Okay. Now here we have 2, so here we have 4. Okay. 4 if you take outside, 2 will cancel out. Okay. So what, and omega n square that we can take outside. So omega n into root of zeta square minus 1. 4 omega n square we have taken as common factor. Okay. So this is the two roots of that quadratic equation of second order system. Okay. Now depend on that we can find out. Now here the factor zeta, we have to take care of that. Now if we consider zeta equal to 0, what will happen? This factor becomes 0. Okay. Then what will have? This will be minus 1. Okay. Root of minus 1 equal to j. Then the roots will be j omega n. Okay. So if we plot on s in s plane, we will have two roots. Okay. And whose value is omega n. Okay. Plus minus omega n. So roots are on imaginary axis. So what will be the response? The response will be oscillation. Okay, complete oscillation. So when the system has two imaginary pole, as zeta equal to 0, your system response is undamped. Okay, pure oscillatory in nature. Okay. Now if we consider that zeta value is between 0 to 1, what will happen? Zeta is 0 to 1. Okay, less than 1. So this is less than 1. That means this value becomes negative, root of minus something, right? Zeta less than 1, so it will be minus some value. So what we will have? We will have one number plus, this is the x, so we will have x plus root of minus something, means we have j, x plus jy, and we will have x minus jy, right? So what we will have? We have a complex pole. Okay, we will have a complex pole. So when the system has two complex conjugate poles, because of the fact that zeta value between 0 to 1, greater than 0, less than 1, so we have a complex pole. If we have complex pole, the response will be your oscillatory but with decreasing amplitude value, and it will reach to the constant value after some time. So this is called underdamped response. Okay, underdamped. Then if we consider that zeta equal to 1, okay, if we put zeta equal to 1, so 1 minus 1, that will be 0. So this factor will not be there, these two factor not there, only this factor. Okay, that means we have two roots whose values are same. So we have double root on real axis. Okay, when the system has two real but equal poles, when zeta equal to 1, okay, then it is called critically damped system. That means it will reach to the constant value after some time without any oscillation. So here we don't have any oscillation. Okay, now if we have zeta greater than 1, greater than 1 means this value is positive root of something. Okay, we have some positive value, so minus term plus that value minus term minus that value. So we will have two real distinct pole, right? We will have two real distinct pole. That means a minus a plus b, what is the value, minus a minus b, both are different value, right? So it will be minus x and it will be minus y. So two roots are different, okay, real root but different value. So we have minus a minus b. So that is called, for that kind of system, it will be overdamped. Overdamped means nothing but it will no oscillation. It will reach up after a long time to the steady state value or constant value as compared to the critically damped system. Okay. Now that we can show in this particular plot. Zeta equal to 0, poles are on imaginary axis, pure oscillation. Okay. Zeta value between 0 to 1. Okay, we have complex pole, okay, and underdamped system, underdamped response, that is oscillatory but with decreasing amplitude. Then zeta equal to 1, critically damped system, no oscillation. Zeta greater than 1, we have two real pole on imaginary real axis, it is overdamped, no oscillation. Okay, so these are the four type that we are getting, four type of response. Now for that, what we can say, we can take some example of that, like say overdamped case. Here omega n value, zeta value that we know, from that we can find out what is the pole location. Okay, then we can find out its output response equation. Now how to find out output response equation, that I will show you after some time. Okay, so these are the same thing that I am showing you. Here you can see zeta equal to 0, right? That's why we have only omega in term. To zeta omega in s, zeta equal to 0, so that term is not there, this term is not there, because that is why it is undamped, zeta equal to 0. Okay. Now let us see how to find out uh, output response of a second order system. Okay, so this is output response means Cs by Rs equal to this factor. Okay, so Cs equal to transfer function into Rs. So Ct will be equal to what? Ct, how you can find out? Laplace inverse of this Cs. Okay, this is as simple as that. Okay, so say we are applying a unit step. Okay, and zeta value we are considering 0 to 1. So it should be an example of underdamped. Okay, that should be example of underdamped response. Now let us find out the equation of underdamped response. Okay, so Cs equal to 1 by S, this factor. Okay, now this particular factor we can write in this particular form, because we have to find out, we have to write this equation in such a form that we can get inverse Laplace transform. Okay, 2 zeta omega n is zeta square omega n square. Okay, and here minus zeta square omega n square. So you can cancel these two, so you will get the previous equation. Now from that, what we can get, 2 zeta omega n s, so s plus zeta omega n whole square. Here omega n square we can take common, 1 minus zeta square. Now then what we can take, this factor. Okay, now here we have 1 by s multiplication. Okay, that's why this s is here. So this is the factor we know that we are getting here. Okay, and at top numerator we have s plus 2s zeta omega n s. Okay, so what we can do here, okay, this factor, okay, we can take it here. Okay, and subtract from that particular factor. Okay, without taking this value of here we have only omega n square term. Okay, so this factor minus omega n square we have to left. So here omega n square into zeta square, that part we have taken here. Okay, so now take we can calculate this part, and here we can take the square term. Okay, a square plus 2 zeta s omega n, and these two cancel out. Okay, then we can write this particular option point. Now 1 by s is we can take as a common factor, minus in this particular form we can write. Okay, so we are separating that term. Then what we can do this factor omega n square into 1 minus zeta square, that we can assume as omega d. Okay, that we can assume as omega d. Omega n root of 1 minus omega zeta square equal to omega d, then this factor will become omega d square. Okay, so that's why we can write here omega d square. Okay, omega d square. So now we can differentiate that. I mean, we can find out this. We can, using partial fraction method, we can find out these two terms. Okay, we can separate these two terms. Okay. Then this factor, what we are writing in this particular form actually, that s plus alpha divided by s plus alpha square plus omega square. Okay, because this factor then becomes e to the power minus alpha t cos omega t. Another factor omega by s plus alpha square plus omega square, this is e to the power minus alpha t into sin omega t. So actual aim is to write in these two form. Okay, in this two form. Okay, then we can take the inverse Laplace transform. 1 by s equal to 1 inverse Laplace transform, that we know. Okay, that's why we are separating this like this way. Okay, then this should be omega d should come here, that's why you are multiplying and dividing by omega d. So we can see this is your s plus a whole square omega d square, and this is your omega divided by s plus a square plus omega square. Okay, so these two factor we can do the inverse Laplace transform very easily. Okay, so this is the way we are getting that. Now Laplace transform of 1, that will be equal to 1 by s equal to 1, and this factor is e to the power minus zeta omega n t. Okay, minus alpha t. Okay, this is cosine of omega dt, and here this is the constant term e to the power minus zeta omega n t sin omega dt. So this will be the output response. Okay, now what we can see, we have cosine and sine term both. So system must be, output response must be oscillatory, because we have sine and cosine term here. Okay, that we can take some common factor. Okay, we can, this factor we can take common, and we can have this particular term. Okay, and then we can take this part as a common once again, so we can multiply and we can get this term. Now from here what we can write, that this zeta, if we consider as cos phi, we can take a right angle triangle. Okay, here we have zeta. Okay, and this is the root of 1 minus zeta square, then this hypotenuse should be equal to 1. Okay, then theta will be equal to tan theta equal to what, root of 1 minus zeta square by zeta. So if we consider zeta equal to cos phi, okay, then root of 1 minus zeta square equal to sin phi. Okay, so that part we can put it here. Okay, zeta value, and so zeta we are assuming as cos phi, then this factor becomes sin phi. Okay, and we can form a triangle to get tan theta value. Okay, so we have sine and cosine term here, so that will be sine omega dt plus phi. Okay, so this will be the equation. Okay, this is the output response of the system, and which is under damped system, because we have this sine term. Okay. Now the error signal we can find E equal to RT minus CT, that we know. Okay. So RT is 1, we know. So ET error signal will be this one. This one will be cancelled out. Okay. So what we can see, if we have unit response, step response, then this is your equation. Okay. Under damped response, where theta equal to tan inverse root of 1 minus zeta square by zeta. If step response, only the a you have to multiply, that's all. Okay. So if it is step response, unit step response, then this is your response, that is your under damped response. Okay. And it is a oscillatory function, but amplitude is decreasing because of the fact that it is multiplied by a factor e to the power minus zeta omega n t. Okay. So this is the response, under damped response. Now let us see what will happen if we apply, I mean if we take zeta value equal to 1. Okay. Now it is for critically damped response if zeta equal to 1. If we apply unit step, what will be the equation? Let us find out. Okay. So if it is zeta equal to 1, so this will be your equation. So it will be s plus omega n square. If we apply RT equal to 1, unit step response, RS equal to 1 by S, so it will be multiplied by 1 by S. Okay, that is the term. Now we have to take a Laplace inverse of that. Okay, so this term we can apply partial fraction expansion method, A by S, B by square term, C by that term. Okay, using that we can find out value of A and B. Okay, I think you know how to find out this partial fraction expansion. Okay, then we can find out A, B, then we can find out C. Okay, we can find out C equal to minus 1. Okay, so A, B, C you know, then we have to perform the Laplace inverse. So 1 by S is 1, this is omega n. Now Laplace inverse, Laplace of 1 is 1 by S, so Laplace inverse of 1 by S equal to 1. Now 1 by S plus A whole square term, okay, that term we are getting because of the fact that e to the power at, e to the power minus at, okay, multiplied by t, that is equal to 1 by S plus A whole square. So this term, if you take inverse Laplace transform, that will be omega n is the constant into t into e to the power minus omega n t. Okay, and this is e to the power minus omega n t. Okay, so this is the response. So 1 minus, we can take omega e to the power minus omega n t as a common factor, 1 plus omega n t. So this is the output response. Now what we can see? We can see it has only e to the power minus omega n t into that term. Okay, only exponentially decaying term is there. So the response will be only exponential. Okay, only exponential, not oscillatory, right? That we are getting from this particular expression. So if we have unit step response, that will be this equation. If step response, you have to multiply by A, and this is the waveform that I have already shown. Okay, for zeta equal to 1. Now say for zeta greater than 1, response is over damped. Now let us find out. If we put zeta greater than 1, okay, what we will get? We will get two roots, right? Minus of zeta omega n plus minus omega n root of zeta square minus 1. Okay, and if we assume S1 equal to minus SA, S2 equal to minus SB, because we have this minus term common. Okay, because poles are located on left half plane, so minus that term we are considering S1. So S1 equal to this, S2 equal to this we can write. Then what we can do, we can factorize that equation. We have only two root, so we can write that equation after factorizing S plus S1, S plus S2. If we apply step input, unit step input, R is equal to 1 by S, that we can multiply here. Okay, now we can use partial fraction expansion method, A by S, B by S plus S1, C by S plus S2. Now we can find out value of ABC. Okay, so we can find out value of A, B, okay, and C. Okay, that we can find out. Then we can put it into that equation. We can see 1 by S term, that is equal to 1. Then this is a constant term. Okay, this is the constant term, and we have 1 by s plus s1, that is e to the power minus s1t. Again we have this constant term and e to the power minus st. Okay, so we can take out this constant as a this constant, this is same term as a common factor, e to the minus s1t by s1 minus e to the power st divided by s2, where s1 s2 equal to this. Now from that equation itself we can find that it depends on only exponential term. There is no sine or cosine term. So it is also the example of uh, only exponentially increasing or decreasing term. Okay, so if it is unit step response, that is the equation. If step response, you have to multiply it by a, that's all. Okay, so if zeta greater than 1, we will have overdamped system. Okay, and it will take much time to settle down. So this is the response of second order system that depends on value of zeta, which is the damping factor. Now for underdamped case or for underdamped system, that means when zeta value between 0 to 1 and if omega is greater than 0, the plot is look like this. This is the underdamped response, oscillatory but amplitude decreasing, and it reaches to the constant value. From that particular point we can find out some parameter. What are the parameter? First point is delay time. Delay time means that delay time is the time interval. Okay, time interval time interval or the time required for the response to reach 50% of the final value. As we are applying step input, the value should be 1, output value should be 1. Okay, so 1 is the final value. So how much time it will take to reach 0.5 value? Okay, that is called delay time. Okay, and the formula to find out that, I am not going into that derivation of that, you can remember the formula, that is 1 plus 0.7 zeta by omega n. Okay, so if you know the second order system zeta omega n value, we can find out td value, delay time. Then we can find out rise time. Rise time means how much time it will take to reach 100% of the value or 90% of the value. Okay, in some cases 0 to 100%, some cases 10 to 90%. So let us consider 0 to 100%, how much time it will take. Okay, that is your rise time. Okay, so from 0 to 100% value, how much time it will take, this is your rise time. Okay, so if rise time is smaller and smaller, your system will be faster and faster, right? Because it will take, suppose there is another plot like this way. Okay, then what will happen? Rise time is here, so it will take more time to reach the maximum, I mean the steady state value. Okay, for the first time. Okay, for the first time. So this system is slower and this system will be faster. Now we can find out that using the formula TR, which is pi minus theta divided by omega d. Now omega d formula is omega n root of 1 minus zeta square, that is the omega d. Pi minus theta, theta formula is tan inverse root of 1 minus omega 1 minus zeta square by zeta. Okay, so TR also depend on omega n and zeta. Okay, and pi is the universal value that we can know, we already know. So this is how you can find out TR, rise time of a system. Then TP, that is called peak time. Peak time means here for this particular system, what will happen? Like it will reach to maximum value or the steady state value, but it will increase and it will oscillate. Okay, with respect to the final value, and it will reach to the ultimately settle down to the final value. So it will reach a maximum value. Okay, maximum value over the final value. Okay. So the peak time is the time required for the response to reach the first peak of the overshoot. We can have many peak. okay, but this is the maximum peak. First peak is the maximum overshoot. So how much time it will take to reach this maximum overshoot, okay, that is the over the steady state value, okay, over the steady state value, how much it is going, okay, and to reach that how much time it will take, that is called peak time, okay. Peak time you can find out using the formula pi by omega d. Omega d equal to omega n into root of 1 minus theta square, okay. That is the peak time. Now we can find out maximum overshoot. Maximum overshoot means how much it is going from 1 to here. Say this is 1 and this is your 1.25, okay. So it is overshoot is 0.25, and from that we can find out percentage, okay. So that will be 25 percentage overshoot. That how you can find out maximum overshoot is the maximum peak value of the response curve measured from unity if it is step response, okay, unit step response. If the final steady state value of the response differs from unity, then it is common to use the maximum percentage overshoot. That means what is the overshoot we are going, okay, say it is not unity, okay, this is some other value, then what will happen, you can plot that, okay. So it is the maximum overshoot and it is going on like this way, okay. So this is say your 2 and this is say your 2.2, right. Then maximum overshoot will be what, this is your c infinity, okay. So this is the steady state value that it will has to reach, and at TP, it reaches 2.2. So it is 2.2 minus 2 divided by 2 into 100%. 100, that will be give the maximum overshoot percentage. Okay. And maximum percentage overshoot directly indicates the relative stability of the system. That means if this overshoot is higher and higher, the system is your less stable. Okay. If we don't have any overshoot, that means your system is critically damped or over damped, it is more stable. Okay, that is the logic. And this maximum overshoot we can find out using this formula. Percentage maximum overshoot MT e to the power minus pi zeta divided by root of 1 minus zeta square into 100, that will give you the maximum overshoot, okay. So using those we can solve some problem. Now another point is there, that is called settling time. Settling time means the settling time is the time required for the response curve to reach and stay within a range about the final value, okay. The range we can consider as 2 to 5%. That means say this is your constant 1, okay. Now we can take 2% tolerance or 5% tolerance. So we can take a 2% tolerance or we can take a 5% tolerance, okay. Tolerance we can take. And how we can find out this settling time, that when it reaches the 2% tolerance level, okay, that is called, this time is called settling time, okay. Or it reaches the 5% tolerance level, okay, or it reaches 5% tolerance level, then it is that time is called settling time. Now it is very easy to find out, okay. For 2% error, settling time is 4 divided by zeta omega n. For 5% tolerance or 5% error, that is 3 by zeta omega n. This value is constant, 4 divided by that, this value will be higher, right. 4 by 4, that will be 1. 3 by 4, it will be lower, right. So what happens, to reach 2% error, so it will take much more time than 5% error. So these are the formula that we have to use in order to solve some kind of problem, okay, to find out this parameter. Those are delay time, rise time, peak time, maximum overshoot, settling time. Now let us solve some problem, okay. Now here in this problem it is given that obtain the response of unity feedback system whose open loop transfer function is given and the input is step input. So open loop transfer function is given. Okay, so we can find out now what is the closed loop transfer function using the formula g by 1 plus gh. Here h equal to 1, right? H, where h equal to 1. This is unity feedback. So g by 1 plus g, so we can get this equation, right? Cs by rs. Now we have to find out response. That means ct we have to find out. So cs equal to rs into transfer function, and this is unit step input. So rs will be 1 by s. So you have to multiply it by s. So this is your cs. Now we have to find out ct. Okay. So now from this case, what we can say, that from this case we have two s values are at -1, -4. So that system response should be what? Over damped case, right? System should be over damped case, that we can find out. And from that also we can find out what is the value of zeta. Okay. If we look here, the value of zeta will be greater than 1. That should be over damped case because we have two distinct pole, real distinct pole. That let us find out. Okay. Ct means you have to find out Laplace inverse of Cs. Okay. So let us solve that. A by S, B by S plus 1, C by S plus 2. From that we can find out A, B and C. That we can put it here and we can find out inverse Laplace. 1 by S means 1, 4 by 3 constant e to the power minus t, 1 by 3 constant e to the power minus 4t. So 1 minus 1 by 3 you can take as common factor, 4 e to the power minus t minus e to the power minus 4t. So this is the output response, right? So you can see this is the example of over damped case. We don't have any oscillation, right? This is the example of over damped case. Okay, over damped or critically damped, it is very difficult to find out. That we can find out from this pole location. If it happens that pole are repeated pole on real axis, repeated pole, then it will be critically damped. So for this case, we can say this is over damped. And one thing is sure, we don't have sine and cosine term, so it can be under damped. Okay. Now let us solve second problem. We have to obtain the response of the system as shown in figure when the input is unit step. Okay, so Rs equal to 1 by S. Now we have to find out total, closed loop transfer function. Here G, H both are given. Okay, G known, H is known. So we can calculate, we can find out. Okay, now from that we can find out what is the value of pole. Okay, S1, S2. So this is quadratic equation. So we can apply Shidhar Acharya formula, minus b plus minus root of b square minus 4ac by 2. So we can get, what we get is here minus 6 plus minus j8. Okay, that means what? It is a complex. So what we can see here, that we have two complex pole. That means your system response should be oscillatory. That means under damped oscillation, decreasing amplitude. So it should be under damped case, that we can see. From that you can find out what is the value of zeta. You will find that zeta value is between 0 to 1. Okay, that we can find out. Okay, so this is under damped case. Now let us find out the response. Okay, equation. So for that we know this equation, Rs is 1, Cs by Rs equal to transfer function. So Cs equal to Rs into that transfer function. Okay, now we have to find out, so we have to now perform Laplace inverse of that, so that we can get Ct. Okay, as simple as that. So we can apply partial fraction expansion method, 1 by s plus bs plus c by quadratic factor. So a we can find out, then b and c we can find out using the equating the coefficient of a square and s term. We can find out b and c, so that we can put it here. Okay, then what we have, this is the part that we have. Okay, now we are dividing this in, so that we can get that equation, e to the power minus alpha t sine omega dt, or e to the power minus alpha t into sine cosine omega dt. Okay, so s plus term divided by s plus a whole square plus omega square, in that particular form we have to write. Okay, so what we are doing, we are dividing this into two factors. Okay, here it is s plus 6, so it will be s plus 6 whole square. From that we can get, okay, here we can get s plus 6 term. Okay, Here we have 8 square. So this one we can take as is one function, minus 6 by this we can take one function. Now here this should be 8 omega by that factor. Okay, so we have to multiply 8 and divide by 8. Okay, so this factor we are getting and this factor we are getting. Okay, so we can convert it into Laplace inverse. If we perform that, 1 by s equal to 1, this is will be e to the power minus 60 cosine 80, 6 by 8 e to the power minus 60 into sine 80. Okay, so we can find out this is the expression, and which has sine and cosine term. That means the response is underdamped. That means the response is nothing but underdamped. Okay, that we can find out very easily. This is the second problem. Now let us solve another type of problem, that is the response is given, Ct is given, okay, when subjected to a unit step input. Obtain the closed loop transfer function and determine the undamped natural frequency and damping ratio. Okay, that means from response we have to find out now transfer function. Previously what we did, from the transfer function we found out the response. Now if Ct is known, okay, now we have to find out its Laplace transform. Okay, so we have to apply Laplace transform of that. Okay, so if we perform Laplace transform of Ct, okay, what we will get, Cs, right? Cs. Cs equal to what we know, that is Rs into your transfer function, say Gs. Okay, so if you know Cs and Rs is known, okay, Rs is known, it is unit step, so Rs should be 1 by s, then we can get this Gs value, right? Then we can find out this Gs value. Let us do that. So Cet equal to this, so take Laplace transform. 1 means 1 by s plus 0.2 s by 1 by s plus 60 minus 1.2 1 by s plus 10. Okay, now we can multiply this. Okay, we can add this factor, we will get this particular expression. Okay, ultimately we got this expression. What we are getting, we are taking this 1 by s separately. Why? Because Rs equal to 1 by s. Okay, that's why this factor we have to make it separate, and whatever the factor, then this will be Cs by Rs. Okay, so this is Cs by Rs, that is equal, this is your Rs now. So Cs equal to Rs into this factor. This factor becomes your transfer function. Okay, so Cs by Rs equal to nothing but this is the transfer function. Now you can multiply this. Okay, so this is the transfer function. From that we have to find out damping ratio zeta and omega n. So omega n equal to what? Omega n square equal to 60, 600. Omega n square equal to 600. So omega n you can find out 2 zeta omega n equal to 70. Okay, we know what is the value of omega n already. 2 is known. Okay, so we can find out zeta. Now from that we can say what should be what is the response. Zeta is greater than 1, so the response is overdamped. Okay, so the response is overdamped. That we can find out from zeta. Okay, this is another type of problem. Now let us solve another type of problem that they can ask you. That is a second order system is given by this particular transfer function. Find the value of rise time, peak overshoot, settling time if subjected to unit step input. Also we can calculate the output response. So output response already we have calculated from the transfer function. Okay, now we have to find out rise time, and peak overshoot, settling time. These are the extra point that we have to cover now. Okay, so from this expression, that is the characteristic equation of second order system. Okay, from that we can say omega n square equal to 25, so omega n equal to 5, and 2 zeta omega n equal to 6, omega n equal to 5, so 10, so zeta equal to 0.6. If zeta equal to 0.6, the response should be underdamped. Okay, response should be underdamped. We can say directly without any problem. So now we have to find out all those value of peak time, rise time. So rise time formula is pi minus theta by omega d. So we have to require to find out theta and omega d. Theta equal to tan inverse root of 1 minus zeta square by zeta. Okay. In radian, we have to find out thou. So you can find out value of theta. Omega d, omega n into root of 1 minus zeta square. Also radian per second. Okay. Theta in radian and this is radian per second. So we know theta and omega d. So pi is known. So you can put this value, you can find out TR. TP, peak time, pi by omega d. Omega d already we know. Pi by that we can find out peak time. Okay. Now maximum overshoot. Okay, peak overshoot value we can find out as part in percentage, that is e to the power minus pi zeta divided by root of 1 minus zeta square into 100. So it comes around 9.48 percentage. Okay. And settling time, it is not given that for how much error I am taking as. For this example, this is taken as 5% error, right? This is taken as 5% error. Okay, 4 by this. 2% error means 3 by that. Okay, so this is the 4 by zeta omega n. So we can find out very easily. And if you remember the formula for this underdamped system, okay, then we can put all the value and we can find out the expression. Otherwise you have to solve it, okay, just the way I did it for problem number 1 and 2. Okay, now let us solve another problem. A second order system has unity feedback and open loop transfer function is given. Okay, what is the characteristic equation you have to find out? Damping ratio, natural frequency value, then rise time, peak overshoot, settling time when subjected to unit step input. So this is your open loop transfer function. If you take closed loop transfer function, that will be 1 plus g h equal to 0, that is the characteristic equation. Closed loop transfer function formula is g divided by 1 plus gh. Okay, and denominator 1 plus gh equal to 0, that is your characteristic equation. So characteristic equation is 1 plus gh equal to 0. So if you take, this is your characteristic equation. From that we can find out omega n square equal to 500. Okay, so omega n we can find out 2 zeta omega n equal to 15. Okay, so omega n we know, so zeta is we know, and zeta is greater than 0, less than 1, so system is under damped. Now we can find out if system is under damped, then we can find out its rise time, peak overshoot, settling time. If the system is over damped, okay, we cannot find out the rise time. I mean, we cannot find out peak overshoot. Okay, settling time, peak time, rise time separately we cannot find out. Only thing we can find out the settling time, which should be 5 tau. Okay, 5 tau, it should reach the steady state value. Okay, now same thing we can do, that is omega d we can find out. We can find out omega d, then we can find out theta value. Okay, okay, theta value is required for delay time. But rise time formula is where is the rise time? Rise time I didn't solve. Peak time. Okay, peak time pi by omega d. Omega d formula we can put it. Max peak overshoot formula we can find out. TS for 5% tolerance we can find out. So we can see the plot here. Okay, what we can see that peak time. So it will reach to this peak. What is the time? 0.1419 second. Okay, maximum overshoot, that means from this point to this point, this is what percent? 32.67%. If it is 1, this value should be 1 plus this percent. Okay, and settling time is 0.533. So it will settle to this 5% error. Okay, after 0.533 second. Right. Okay, this is the point. Now say another problem. Second order system has unity feedback open loop transfer function is given. Okay, characteristic equation, damping ratio, natural frequency, peak time, peak overshoot, settling time. Okay, same question, but GS is different. So we can find out this 1 plus GH unity feedback. Okay, that is the main point. So H equal to 1. So we got this value. Now zeta omega n square equal to 36. So omega n equal to 6. Here 2 zeta omega n equal to 0.72. So zeta equal to 0.06. So it is again under damped response. Okay, again it is under damped, as the point is zeta value is between 0 to 1. So omega d we can find out. If you know omega d, peak time is pi by omega d. Okay, then settling time 4 by zeta omega n, maximum overshoot we can find out. Okay, this is the same problem. Now in that problem, let us include another point, that is uh, that is how many cycle it will require in order to settle. Okay, settling time is 11 second. Okay, so in that particular example, settling time is 11 second. That means it will settle here at 11 second time. So how many cycle this it has to follow to reach to this value, settling time? How many cycle it has to follow, that we have to find out. For that, what you know, omega d, damping frequency, omega equal to 2 pi ft. Now ft equal to what? Frequency, omega d by 2 pi. So frequency means number of cycles per second. So zero point 0.9 cycles per second should be there. Okay, then that delay, td you can write as 1 by f, t equal to 1 by f. So at 1.04 second per cycle. Okay, how much time it will take? So omega d is the damping frequency. From that we can find out in angular frequency. From that we can find out radian per second. We can find out the frequency, cycles per second. So in 1 second it will take 0.95 cycles. Okay, so how much time it will take for one cycle? So td equal to 1 by fd, so 1.04 second per cycle. Okay, so the settling time is 11.11. So how many cycle it will require? That 11.11 divided by 1.04 second per cycle. So 10.59 cycles it will require. It will go 10 cycle, it will go 10.5 cycles to when it will reach or it will settles. That plot I have taken from the MATLAB. So this is the time. Okay, 11.1 second, and how many cycles it is taking. So this is your one cycle. Okay, then two, then three, then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, 10, 10.5 almost. Okay, 10.5, greater than 10 cycles it will take to reach this settling time. Okay, to reach this settling time, it will take 10 more than 10 cycle. Okay, this is your one complete cycle, second cycle, like that way. That we can calculate using this particular way. Okay, this is another type of problem. Now let us solve another problem, that is closed loop transfer function is given, unity feedback system, damping ratio we have to find out, natural frequency, output response subjected to unit step. This is very simple, as straightforward. So g divided by 1 plus gh, this is the system. So omega n square equal to 24, so we can find out omega. 2 zeta n equal to 5, so zeta equal to this, so it is also under damped system. Okay, under damped system. Omega d we can find out, then we can find out the what you have to find out. We have to find out output response. Okay, so the problem here is this problem here. We have one problem, that cs by rs, what is the term here? Okay, that transfer function here at numerator, that value should be 24. Okay, omega n, omega d, zeta, that we can find out from the denominator, but transfer function of a second order system must be omega n square divided by a square plus 2 zeta omega n s plus omega n square. This factor should be 24. These two value should be same, but here this value is different. So we have to modify that transfer function. Then we can solve it. Okay, this is the trick of this problem. So it will be 24 by this. So here you have to multiply numerator denominator by 24. Okay, so this becomes your a constant term that will come into picture. Okay, that constant term and the formula is known. We can put all the formula theta, omega d, all those, and we can find out the expression. So here the trick is in that transfer function, if second order system transfer function, if the numerator is not equal to omega n square, then we have to make it omega n square by multiplying numerator denominator by that omega n square value. Then we will get some constant outside of that function. Okay, this is the trick of this problem. Now let us solve another one. Okay, that is a system has 30% of overshoot. Okay, 30% of overshoot, settling time 5 seconds. For a unit step input, determine the transfer function, calculate peak time and output response. Okay, this is the problem. So we have to find out transfer function when you know percentage overshoot and settling time. So let us see percentage overshoot formula we can write. Okay, that is percentage overshoot, that is mp equal to 30 to the power minus 5 zeta divided by 1 by root of 1 minus zeta square to 100. Okay, so that from that what we can find out, from percentage overshoot, if we know, we can find out the value of zeta, right? Because pi is known, percentage overshoot is already known. Okay, so we can find out this zeta value very easily. How? This is 30. Now this is percentage, so here it is multiplied by 100, so it is 0.3. This is log e. Okay, so ln of that equal to this factor. Ln of value we know. Okay, then from that we can find out what is the value of zeta. If we know zeta, settling time formula is Ts equal to 4 by zeta omega n. If we know settling time, already we got the value of zeta, so we can find out omega n. Okay, so we know now omega n and zeta. Then we can write the transfer function. Omega n we know, so omega n square we can write. S square is there, 2 zeta omega n. Zeta omega n is known factor, so we can write down omega n square we know. So this is enough to find out transfer function. So if we know peak overshoot, okay, overshoot value and settling time, we can find out transfer function very easily. This is another type of problem, okay, that we may solve. Now we can have to find out peak time output response. So this is very easy. Peak time formula pi by omega d. Omega d we can find out, formula is known. CT formula also we know because of the fact that this is zeta is 0.35. So this is the example of under damped system. So that formula you have to use. Omega d you can find out, theta you can find out, and you can put all those value, and you can find out this output response. Okay. Now let us solve. This is the last problem, I think. So here what it is said, a closed loop system has two complex poles. Okay, so two complex poles are there. So what will have happen? The system will be underdamped without any question. Determine the transfer function, value of peak time, rise time, overshoot and settling time. So transfer function of the second order system is this one. Okay, omega n square. S12 is known. Okay, so what we can do, we can find out s plus that root, s plus that root. Okay, so this is your s1 s2, so we can write s minus s1, s minus s2. Okay, so that become plus, so we can write down. So we can find out this is the denominator part. Okay, this square equal to minus 1, so it become 5. Omega n square, this is your 5, so this should be 5. So this is the transfer function. So omega n square is 5. Omega n you can know, you know what is the zeta now. Okay, 2 zeta omega n equal to 4. So just by putting these two pole, we can write down the denominator. Okay, from that we can form the numerator is only omega n square. Okay, then we can find out omega n and zeta. Fine, then we can find out omega d theta using the formula. Tp we can find out pi by omega d. Ts settling time 4 by zeta omega n. Tr pi minus theta by omega d, and maximum overshoot also you can find out using the formula. This is direct calculation, there is nothing to do. Okay, so this is all about this second order system. Okay, output response of second order system. The main point you have to remember that due to the zeta value, okay, your system response changes. If zeta value between 0 to 1, this is undamped response. Zeta equal to 1, critically damped response. Zeta equal to greater than 1, it will be overdamped system. Okay, and for underdamped, we have to know how to find out rise time, peak time, delay time, okay, then maximum overshoot, then settling time. So those are the point that you have to take care. Okay, so this is all about. And another one point that I want to tell you in this context, that how you can know that your system is more faster. That time what we can say, that rise time, okay, rise time must be smaller. Okay, rise time must be smaller, then its system is faster, it will reach your steady state value faster. And how we can say system is more stable, maximum overshoot must be lesser. Okay, so under damped system is less stable as compared to critically damped and over damped. Okay, so these are the main criteria, main point that you have to remember. Okay, so this is all about this output response or time response of second order system. Okay, thank you so much.